Had to rush to get back. Hey guys! I'm here! A whole year of Sedra. I know, time flows linearly, as it turns out. Uh, it's really nice to see all of you. I hope you are having a wonderful time. Echo. Is there an echo going on? Yes. Let me listen to this for a second. Yes. Let me listen to this for a second. I don't hear any echo. I think it just might be you. Anyway, I have a Q&A, planned for today. I have a lot of questions all prepared. I'm gonna spend some time answering them. I just wanna give it a moment for everyone to get in. But, it has been a pretty good year. I've done about, I think, 100 streams. I mean, just judging by my YouTube uploads. I know I did a couple, like, games in, like, one feature a couple times, but not as much as I would like. Unstable. Bitrate is too high. Hold on. Maybe I should lower that just a tad, if I can't handle 6,000. I'll do 5,000. Ignore it? Just ignore it? Oh, okay. I will bump that back up to 6,000 then. Okay. It says that because it's normal. Understood. Anyway. Wow. I have got a lot to go over, so I think I'm just going to start. Boom! I have a sort of PowerPoint presentation, of sorts set out for this. I didn't have a good-looking, overlay, so I just sort of used the one that I used for FTL. So, first off, before I get to any of the personal questions, I wanted to do the frequently asked ones that I get all the time. Where did your name come from? So, hold on, I should get music going for this. I'll just, default to wizardry since it's, you know, chill. I think it was this one? No. 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 Shit, was it this? I got it first time the last time I opened this. Okay, yeah, there we go. Had to listen through the entire OST in order to find the right song. How embarrassing. Anyway, where did your name come from? So, for those who've known me for a long time, I used to go by Nero, and that was like ancient history at this point. But, back in like 2015-ish? Yeah, it was early 2015, in like March. I was getting really invested into my friend's setting, MSF High, and I had a dream where I transformed into a Legion girl. And, that sort of gave me like a weird awakening for my identity. I apologize if I'm nasally, I'm actually still sick. Or I'm just getting over the flu. So, you know, take that with a grain of salt. I had a lot of mental turmoil over this because, wow, I got turned into a girl and I really liked it. Like a day or two later, I had another dream where I was just in a black void, and there were a bunch of people chanting in disembodied voices, Sedra, Sedra, and it was like, hey Sedra, thought I'd stop by to say hi and happy anniversary. Hello, I have your question later down the line. It was just like disembodied voices were assaulting my brain with the name Sedra. It came out of nowhere, and every time they did, I would get more and more girly. That's my creepy origin story. It's It's funky. It's funky is what it is. But yeah, my dream, my subconscious just sort of pushed my identity onto me, and from then on I was just Sedra. For a while, I got sort of convinced that it was like a headmate forming, but I don't do that sort of thing. So it was strange but intriguing, yes. Sedra just feels like a good name for me, honestly. The other thing is the Lime. I used to be a Lime Scout in TF2, I'm embarrassed to say. I didn't really buy the whole thing about that being, like, violating the game's art style. Honestly, I still don't, but it's also kind of garish. But eventually, I just thought, well, a lot of the cosmetics just have the best color coordination when they're not painted at all. And also paint is expensive, and so eventually I just started, like, either changing the paint or unpainting my stuff until I think I only have, like, 2 or 3 Lime items now in general. But beyond that, the Lime just sort of ended up in my name forever, and I couldn't help it. It was just like, this is just part of who I am. I just introduced myself as Nero the Lime, not the Emperor and not the Fruit. But even after abandoning my Lime heritage, I kept the name. Why? Because now I am green. Just by happenstance, I happen to get a Sona that just happens to have lime-ish colored skin. So I feel like it still fits. Anyway, what are Legion? Most people that I'm watching me probably know the answer to this question, and I want to kind of keep this one brief. So, Legion are a race created by Wraith, one of my best friends. They're part of his setting, MSF High / Maho Galaxy, and effectively, a lot of people think of them as like Plant Borg. They're here to say hi and bye, I'm off to work. Oh, I'm sorry, you can catch the VOD later at least. But anyway, we do not forgive, we do not forget, expect us. Okay. Effectively, Legion can sort of, convert other people into more of themselves. Basically, they have a sort of extendo, stabby vine that can come out of their hands and, inject you with nanites, and if you do, then you join the Legion. I kind of got engrossed with this concept ages ago, and now it's basically consumed my entire identity. I like it a lot. It sort of lent itself to a, feeling of family that I was missing a lot in my childhood. And also, after the war, Legion are a lot more chill. There is so much info I'm like, glossing over because Maho Galaxy has, like, Tolkien depth lore. I can't really do it justice just by explaining it in a split moment. But anyway, damn, that's edgy. They're a lot more chill after the war. They're more of a, loving, caring, like, psychic bonding family sort of deal, and they make worlds pretty. And, I'll get more into that in the future. I mean, I put a blurb beneath my stream about how to make, or what exactly Legion are. I tried to keep it brief, but that is basically the footnotes. Why stream as a Legion? I kinda got into this. Oy, But I think Parallax is just making reference to, Anonymous. Because Legion are sexy. Yeah, exactly. I dig the idea of being a green space alien babe. And, also plants are nice. Granted, I kind of liked Legion before I liked plants, so I did kind of get, corrupted by the hive into being a greenie. I just feel like this character's a self-insert, so I just want to be myself when I stream. I figured I may as well. Hello, Ducky. Anyway, next. Have I enjoyed streaming? I have. The past year has been very nice, guys. I have not streamed as often as I would like. And usually, I actually find streaming to be very exhausting for some reason. It's like, I look forward to it for a long time, and then when I get into it, I get tired of speaking really fast. So the vast majority of my streams have just been 2 hours. And I know I can do better, because when I streamed Deltarune Chapter 2, that was a 5.5-hour marathon, and I still got through it. My biggest problem, I feel, has just been trying to keep it consistent. Like, streaming very often, because a lot of the times it's like, I have a window that I aim to be live in, and if I don't know, like, what else I'm going to be doing that day, like, if I want to go to if I want to go out with friends, or if I want to watch something, or more specifically, what am I going to be making for dinner, a lot of that can play into whether or not I stream in a given day. Is there anything else? Lore video. I've been saving a lore video until I am more experienced as a Vtuber. This character does have established lore. I can talk about that if I really want to. I kind of do. So Sedra, my self-insert Legion Sona, the one that I VTube as, everyone's favorite, is basically like an alternate version of me from an Altereth in which the planet was just a little bit more magically inclined. The idea being that Sedra is effectively, she knows a guy... Okay, how much of this can I say without getting into, like, the greater lore of Maho Galaxy to begin with? Let's start with what an Inspired is. So, Inspired are effectively the author recursively appearing within the work. So Wraith made Maho Galaxy. But within Maho Galaxy are people who have also written Maho Galaxy. Inspire Ace. Get the fuck up. Anyway, these people sort of have their own followings, and those followings have their own methods of, like, interacting with the setting. So in other words, the setting itself exists recursively within itself by authors inside the setting. It's very weird. It's sort of hard to grasp. It's just extremely meta. Anyway, point is, in-character Sedra has a Wraith-like figure as a best friend, gets really involved in everything, likes Legion a lot, and wants to be Legion more than anything. Yada yada yada. She has a near-death experience, and this ends up with her in a coma, where she recovers from where she is undergoing a very, very long dream in which she gets to be a Legion Queen, and parts of her psyche appear to her as 9 daughters. They help emotionally support her. It's basically just a big romp. But at some point, she starts to die, and the daughters need to sacrifice themselves in a sense in order to bring her in order to give her a shock required to wake her up. So when she wakes up from this dream, she's in this, like, weird state of, like, oh god, everything that I thought I knew for the past few years has been a lie. I don't even know the real world anymore. But that disconnection from reality comes with a sort of benefit, let's say. She can cast magic now. She learned in her dream, and now it's become a part of her. But the problem is, it's still not good enough to cast anything that can be, like, a decent body change spell or anything. She can only really cast really, really basic stuff because the world hasn't fully gone through its magical awakening. So, she figures, hey, if magic's real, Legion are probably real. And decides to build a spaceship. And the spaceship blew up, end of story. Okay, so Sedra appears in MSF High because that's sort of a isekai thing within Maho Galaxy. And she just sort of lives her best life, and in the context of the stream, she is just appearing, just gaming, in between school sessions, in between adventures, kind of just mainly getting income by going out to dungeons and like casting magic and sword and spell and stuff. Even though I don't really get into that, I'm kind of just nerdy on stream. It is supposed to be a big part of Sedra's character that she like goes on adventures and stuff. Not to say that she's like always exercising. She is kind of a shut-in neat at times. And I think she chooses adventuring as a career just because she doesn't want a real job. But anyway, she has amnesia, she recovers from her amnesia, she becomes a legion for realsies. And here I am. So, that's, in a nutshell, the lore of Sedra. I didn't really have anything planned, that was all spur of the moment. But I've been building it for like 9 years or so. Now on to the real questions. Nathan the Fox asks 2 questions. 1, is evasion better than defense, on your opinion? And 2, any tips on healing? So for the first question, I'm assuming you're asking these both from like a tactical perspective. And generally speaking, when I do stuff, I kind of inch more towards the like slow and powerful. So I do prefer tanking over dodging. Is evasion not a form of defense? Yeah, it kinda is. But I think he's specifically referring to, I'm sorry, I'm still a little congested. I'll need to blow my nose real quick. I should actually... Oh, that is so much better. Okay. The best defense is a good offense. I generally prefer tankiness over outright, like, dodging. Evasion is OP in normal mode in Darkest Dungeon, yet becomes useless as the hardest difficulty as an enemy accuracy is so high, it's not worth stacking it. Really, honestly, it just depends on the situation. You could say that the best defense is just not getting hit at all, and that's the case in stuff where you're, like, able to move a lot regardless. But sometimes it's best to just, like, stand your ground and, like, really take a pounding. You can't hurt you if they're dead. Yeah, but that's getting into offense. The strongest defense is a swift and decisive offense. Again, that's getting into offense. If I'm playing Dark Souls, yeah, I'm going to be dodging everything, but I also really liked playing Elden Ring with a Great Shield, honestly. And like, I can make a rant about like how Souls players trait shields. They're not that bad. They're good. I like how they're done in that. It's like you can't block everything, but if you really put your all into it, you can like block a lot. Anyway, any tips on healing? Also, assuming you're talking about a tactical standpoint, you're probably going to want to prioritize keeping certain people alive. Generally speaking, healer should always be kept as healthy as possible. If you're asking, like, from an esoteric standpoint, when I do healing magic, I tend to focus on, like, feeling for the other person. Generally speaking, I just sort of, like, pour good vibes into my magic. In terms of a scientific standpoint, keep your wounds clean. Don't touch them too much. If you get sick, get yourself a lot of vitamins. I've just been sick for like the past week. Oopsie. Anyway, next. I asked around on DeviantArt as well, and from 4TM4Porn, is it possible to befriend a legion and not get legionized in the process? My non-legion friends should be able to answer this, but yes. The thing is, I can just be very persuasive. A lot of people see me and they're just like, oh yes, I want to be in a psychic, like, hive mind with this person. Yes, absolutely. I can't imagine why. But yes, I don't know what propaganda you've been served, but I'm not going to, like, sneakily convert you and you're not looking just because you get close to me. I respect your choice. From Helly Khan, any potential playthrough/stream of an Inti Creates game? Probably. I don't really have too many of them. I know they did the 2D... I know they did the, sprite-based Bloodstained games, but I don't have those. What I do have is Blaster Master 0, 1, and 2. I've been itching to play those, but I have them installed on my Steam Deck. Now that I know there's interest for them, yeah, I'll gladly play them on stream. Also, Kana is best girl. Triel asks, why are you such a great person, and why is Legion so cool? This... Thank you. But this seems like... I've had a lot of people abuse me in the past. And that's really sad. I've just generally led a very rough life, and I figure nobody else should have to also lead a rough life just because I have. So, I just try to be nice, and amicable, and forgiving to people. And that sort of attitude just tends to earn me a lot of friends. Now, granted, it also does lose me some friends, because sometimes I get really opinionated on a topic, and I let my true colors show. And that's not to say that the niceness is an act. I am genuinely trying to be a nice person to be around. People with rough upbringings typically become the very best or very worst people, nothing in between. Yeah, it's just like... There was a time when I believed that so many people had left me as a friend that I was just a genuinely unlikable person, and I had just sort of given up hope on forming relationships. But I found good friends, I ended up with good people, and they've been a very positive influence on me. You definitely had some character development in the time I've known you. Yeah, I used to be a lot more crass, back when I was like 14 and 15, and especially when I was like 13. I was very rough with people. I used to be an anti-brony at one point. That's kind of embarrassing. Although, a lot of the times, it felt like I was just, like, not, it felt like I wasn't expressing myself to the fullest extent just because I was afraid of people, like, pushing back if they find out that I'm, like, not into the same things as them. And that's led to me just parroting a lot of people's opinions in the past. I still kind of do it sometimes, just out of anxiety. But, in short, I characterize my Legion Sona as a very friendly and cutesy person, and she's just a role model for me. My self-insert is a better version of myself, yes, but it is one that I strive to better myself to become. So I think it works. Also, she does have flaws character-wise. She's very, she's not the brightest tool in the shed. I try to be friendly and amicable with people, even if I didn't have a rough upbringing. In fact, I kinda ignored other people IRL and focused on myself. Most interactions with people in games and such. I've been very antisocial when it comes to games, especially lately. I'll get more into that later, but, like, a lot of the times I just either communicate in text chat or not at all when I'm not streaming. Or even when I am streaming. If I'm, like, in a multiplayer game, I'll just type in text chat. Excuse me. And why is Legion so cool? I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Big green melons are something everybody likes. Psychic bond. Growable clothes. I don't know. They've got a lot of things going for them. Tara asks, if you were a dragon, what breath weapon would you have? 1 elemental and 1 special effects. Well, I think it's obvious what the special effect would be. It would probably be a sort of charm gas. But the elemental, I'm a little more, like, puzzled about. I would think magical fire. But I could also see myself breathing lightning. Fire and polymorph breath. Yeah, I would love a polymorph breath. Oh, I know. Elemental would be light. I want to shoot a laser from my mouth like fucking Dark Eater Meteor. And yeah, the special effect breath would probably be like either a charm gas or a transformation beam. That just sort of seems like the best thing for me. What color of dragon I would be? I don't know. I have no idea. Orlaith approves. Nice. Lon Colwinter asks, what was the biggest inspiration for your design? Well, I have got several things prepared for this question. So let's talk about Sedra's design. Light Breath does exist. There's a Sun Drake in D&D that does that. Oh, nice. So, Sedra's, like, visual design is it's sort of cobbled together from a lot of different things. One of which is, right, I have my reference sheet right here. Sedra Kaiju shoots lasers that turn people into Sedras. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. I forgot I was going to swap to the slide a little earlier. But, this is Sedra's design from, like, a front to back perspective. Big fan of it. I'm growing. Good. I tended to recently avoid conversation with people because it often got shut down at home. As you can tell from my recent attempts at making a character, it's more about characters who want to avoid conversation for one reason or another. Also, hi. Hello, Koji! I'm growing my hair long like that. I hear in real life my hair is, like, only about, I want to say waist height. Armless Sedra ref. You're lucky. I cut out the one that shows off the rest of her body from the back. It has her bald. I just sort of cobbled her design together from a lot of things that I like. It's got a cheapo with a boob window and disconnected sleeves and really, really baggy sleeves. So it's like a half robe on the sleeves. I don't, like, remember specifically what inspired the design, like, outfit-wise. I sort of just picked a bunch of aspects I like. The hair is various things that I found interesting in hair. Mostly just long, curly. Has got the weird, like, head bob thing. Sedra needs bigger sleeves. I have a kimono dress for her in Minecraft. Anyway, moving on. Sedra's, like, overall, like, character is based a lot on, like, Monica from Dark Cloud 2. She's sort of the whole spell sword design. She's a princess. She's got, like, big sword and magic. And also, she's just, like, really likable character-wise. She's got a very, light-hearted approach to life, but she also can take stuff seriously, so Sedra is very closely based to her. And I actually have a reference of Sedra wearing, something like her outfit. Which, yeah, this is Sedra's alternate dress. I don't have it as a 2D model, but eventually I'll probably make this for the 3D model. I think the next one is original sketch for Sedra. It's kind of crazy how long I've been doing this, but how I've not really had, a design for, like, I had, been identifying as Legion and, Girl for quite a while before I had, like, a full design for myself. And, this design is from, like, really early 2017. So this is, like, the first real Sedra picture, like, ever. That is to say, the first real illustration. It's really cute. I think before that, so, like, late 2016-ish, I made the Sedra Minecraft skin, which I believe I've improved on since. But this was, like, the first time I ever tried designing her. And it's kind of crazy how far I've come from this. What's next? Oh, Zia asks, what's the best size of Gahungus? So, okay, hopefully Allie will not mind me using her size chart, because this is how I tend to measure bust size. But, I generally have as a comfort zone somewhere around 7 and 8. I think 8 is probably my favorite. At 9, it's sort of like, okay, this is ridiculous. 10 is more like, maybe we should stop here, and, like, 11 and beyond is just like, Okay, there's no way you're convincing anyone this is not fetishy. But, like, I'd choose 16. A lot of people would, surprisingly. But some things need to have limits. Because if you go up too much, then it starts to get, a little hard to make out the character. 4 is supposed to be average in universe. And yes, I know you can pay points to make my boobs big. 7 is good? Yeah, I prefer 8. When I initially designed Sedra, I made her a 7, but I think I bumped her up to 8. But yes, my comfort zone is 8. If I were to, like, do expanded booby casual stuff, I would probably go up to 13, but beyond that is sort of uncomfortable. 16 is actually the lower end in some of the communities I frequent. Yeah, I know, the internet can be really saucy at times. Anyway, Metal Spiral asks, wanna collab? Dude, yeah. You're my best friend. I'll have you on stream sometime, I just gotta figure out something we both have. But I talked with him earlier and got him to elaborate. He also asked, what are some of my wanted collabs? Who would I want to collaborate with? Yes, Unga Hunga size. Okay, yes. Who do I want to collaborate with? I don't know. I don't have a lot of other VTubers I look up to. Maybe Cake sometime? Maybe Graph? I actually, the other day, got to meet Graph in VR, since he did a meet and greet. I won an entire career race in Uma Musume, now I watch. I would love to collab with you again sometime. Garrus and Zephyr ask, how would your fate have changed, in your opinion, if you hadn't met Ali and Joey with their works? And how long have you known Ali and Joey, and how did you come to know them? You seem rather well endowed for me for that list. Okay. So, my other best friends, Wraith and AkuOreo, I met online, just sort of happened across their setting, got really invested in it, and over time I just sort of earned their trust to the point where they just invited me to live in a vacant house that was, like, close to them. I don't want to get too in detail because that's, like, TMI, but, like, yeah, we know each other in real life, we go out, like, pretty often. But if I hadn't met them, oh my god. I would probably be dead. Like, honestly, I was in a dead-end I was in a dead-end city. It was, like, small town, like, no opportunity. And, I feel like I probably would have, like, gotten a job within walking distance, but, like, my childhood home was, like, falling apart. I was living with my hoarder parents. They said they would not let me go homeless. They would have, like, kept a home open for me. But I can't help but feel like I was getting abused living with them. I was certainly getting neglected. There was many times where we just did not have basic amenities. Like, we didn't have a bathroom. We had a toilet in the basement and a shower stall next to it. They were both, like, falling apart. It was living in absolute squalor, and god, it's like traumatic memories rushing back, but there are a lot of things I miss from back home. But honestly, a rat dump, yeah, that house should have been condemned. They offered me the house, by the way, after I moved away. They said that they were moving into my late grandma's house, and that they would offer me the house that I grew up in, and I turned it down because living with my friends is more important to me. But, yeah, if I had not met them, I would probably be dead. Frankly, I don't really see my life going anywhere otherwise. And how long have you known Joey and Ali, and how did I meet them? Again, let me tell you about a lost era of the internet. See, back in the day, before everything was just algorithms, we had a thing called the weird side of YouTube. So, what you would do is, you would set your videos to autoplay, and you'd just walk away, and it would just pick the first related video and play that. And if supposedly, if you go away for like 6 hours and then come back like all those hours later, you'll just be in like some complete mirror dimension of where you once were. This was before the YouTube related videos segment just got like completely removed. It's not related videos anymore. It's just what the algorithm wants you to like watch next. We've lost that. That is something that we have like lost entirely. But in 2012, I played this weird side of YouTube game, and eventually it led me to a channel called Transforming Morpher, who posted a bunch of transformation comics from AkuOreo. And I think some other artists. But he was like the only person that Aku had given the blessing of uploading her art. A couple of those. And I just thought like, how strangely fascinating. But I just didn't really think anything of it. So like, flash forward a couple years to like early 2014. Got a question last second, as is traditional for me. I will be accepting questions from chat as well. But I'm almost done with this segment. Around 2014, I was using DeviantArt a lot. I think it was mostly like TF2 and Spiral Knights artists I was watching, but also like, that's how I met like Graph and Cake and a lot of the other like really big booby stuff that I got interested in way too early in my life. Now, to be fair, a lot of it was a lot less lewd back in the day, so I don't really feel like I was exposed to anything that I really shouldn't have been. But while browsing through random artists, I just happened across AkuOreo again, and I recognized her style, and I just sort of like looked through her entire gallery. I loved all of it. I wanted more art, so I just started reading MSFI, and I really, really liked it. And, you know, Legion sort of tickled my brain in a certain sense. So I just sort of liked it from a distance for the most part. But then I tried to make a Left 4 Dead 2 mod, and I contacted Wraith, asking for his blessing, and of course he gave it to me. And we've just been friends since, and there have been a lot of ups and downs. Mostly ups, but like, I've gone through a lot of community drama with the MSFI server. Before it was even a server, it used to just be like the forums. There was a big community split, and a lot of people left because they were convinced by an absolute jerk that Wraith was an asshole. AkuOreo's art was probably my first exposure to transformation art. Wow. Good stuff. It's weird because, like, you mention her name to a lot of people and they're just like, oh yeah, I remember her. It's like, she's still doing stuff though. It's this weird reputation she has. But like, yeah, she's still active. I know her quite well. I wouldn't say we're like really, really close friends, but I'm closer to Joey than her. But we're still good friends. She cares about me. She talks to me sometimes, but she's very shy. So most of the communication is done with Wraith. Rizu's question: what prompted you to start VTubing? Who or what inspired you to start? Answer to that is also Wraith. I don't remember when I started getting involved in VTubing. I know that guy. Yeah, I wonder how he's doing. I started getting involved in VTubing around, like, I think when Kizuna Ai was first starting. I saw a lot of the clips of her. It was just starting to take off. But eventually Hololive launched, and Wraith got really into that, and he's just like, hey, Sedra, VTubing is really cool. I think, really? And he decides to make a model for himself. He has AkuOreo do the art, and he rigs it, and he did a couple streams as Ruby. And those are way back in the day, but he convinced me, hey, Sedra, you've got a lot of, like, Patreon rewards, like, stacked up. Can I perhaps convince you to exchange all of those for instead one VTuber avatar? I was just thought, sure, I'd like to get into VTubing. So, yeah, it took a while for it to get done. I don't really want to say exactly how long, because I know... Oh good, I didn't miss this. You missed a bit of it. You're about 40 minutes late. But anyway, I just got a model, and took a while for me to get it, but I am very satisfied with it. It could have a few more emotions, but I don't know, like, where to go from there. Like, I do like how it, like, tracks my face. I think that's good enough for emotions, but it could use, like, maybe a blush or a cry. I don't know. I'm still, like, still adjusting to this. There might be an update to the model in the future. I don't know. I think if I want to do things to the model myself, I'm best off doing that with a 3D model. But yeah, Wraith is just out of the blue, just like, hey, Sedra, you want to try VTubing? And I'm like, yeah, okay. I'd love to. And that's how I got started. Anyway, oh, Callista has a lot of questions, all of which I believe are intended to be answered in character. One, favorite and least favorite part of MSF High. Honestly, the culture is in Maho City is fantastic. It's a giant melting pot from across the galaxy, and I have gotten very, very invested in just the world itself. I feel like, in a sense, I'm kind of genre savvy because a lot of the things that freak everybody else out, I just get really excited for. The least favorite part, I think, is the lack of communication with the outside galaxy. And I understand there's like a reason for the secrecy, and it's kind of a miracle that I'm even able to get this stream out in the first place. But, I don't really know what to say. It's kind of hard to find a part about this I don't like. Gym class? Shadows? Everything is just so wonderful. My Callista has more! What was it like becoming a Legion? It is such a wonderful experience. For those who don't know, Legion conversion is typically, if it's forced, very painful. It can feel like a branch getting stabbed into your chest and then growing through your veins. But if you relax and let it happen, it is more like a soft, soothing injection. It's like warm love and just a wave of relaxation going across your body. And then, of course, there's also the obvious benefits to... But that's less Legion-oriented as much as it is girl-oriented, and yeah, the girl thing was kind of my main reason for wanting it. But it's a very nice experience, especially, like, near the end of conversion, when you get connected to the hive, and you just feel this, like, physical... what's the word I'm looking for? Palpable wave of love and affection coming from what you feel is your family. It occurs to me, according to Maho rules, because Dolly's planet has undergone a magical awakening, it will soon canonically be visitable. I think that's mostly related to actual space travel, though. I'm the weird person who likes TF, but I have characters who are against it and resist it. That's what makes it fun. There's a lot of, different... I'm blanking. It's not always fun to embrace it. Sometimes, like, I don't know, I'm getting into things that people might consider weird, but, like... It's less fetishy for me as much as it is just like, ooh, interesting concept. What even is Legion armor and clothes? Legion armor and clothing are grown right out of their skin. So, effectively, you have a mental blueprint for what the outfit is, and by connecting to that blueprint, you can sort of shift your body in order to sort of grow it right out of your body. Yeah, it's nanotech. Legion are canonically naked. Shush! Number 6 is out of character. Where are nanites stored? That's a... Everywhere is the easy question. They're all over the blood. But there are different types of nanites. For instance, the nanites that I inject into people are conversion nanites, and those are specifically made for that sort of purpose. I don't really know the exact distribution, but, like, in my eyes, nanites are just sort of like a generic thing that can be put to multiple purposes. So, yeah, anyway, the obvious question is boobs. Yeah, breasts are just convenient sacks for storing nanites. 5. Favorite form of magic or spell. I bet you're expecting me to say transformation. You're correct. But actually also, who do you think is going to happen to Julia as a Legion? What do you think is going to happen to Julia as a Legion Queen, who tried to have the mental changes suppressed but now converted 2 people? I don't think she's a very good Legion Queen. But to be fair, some seeds do carry the will of their creator, and that seed is sourced from a rogue queen. So, chances are, Julia's just going to go crazy. I wonder if the environmental imperative will still kick in if she skips the brain part. Simple answer, microscopic robots that can be programmed to do whatever. Yeah. Anyway, favorite form of magic or spell. Yeah, I like body magic. It's an element in a setting. I kind of just like casting spells and like changing my body, other people's body. It's really fun to just shoot like a TF laser at someone and just watch them squirm. Honestly, if someone is just like has beef with me and is like trying to piss me off or like attack me or something, I usually just hit them with the like, boom, you're a girl now, and they stop attacking because they're like flustered. But other than that, I'm really into healing magic, and I'm really into, as far as like destructive stuff goes, probably lightning. She's never intended to be a proper Legion Queen, she just wanted to escape death. Fair. I think I know a first-year student that happens to a lot. There's more! The 3 weeks you worked yourself to the bone making the model, would you do it again? Actually, yes I would. I'm still working on it. I'm making a bikini outfit for it now. It's still like really early on, but I'm still working on it. Anyway, favorite comic made by the AkuOreo crew. Yes, all applies. I don't have any to show right now, but probably I've got a handful of favorites. One of them is Setting the Stage. I want to also say like the Legion Queen and Princess thing. Also, the Disgaea comics. Those were really good. I think everyone said it by now, but it's genuinely impressive work. Make a Simone model with Spiral mixed. I could probably use the Sedra base as a template for making other models. If I want to. Like, excuse me, I'm still developing phlegm. I've got so many favorite comics from her, it's hard to say. I like the High School Mishaps one. Phantasma win, oh my god. I'm going to have to start charging if people want these. And I'm not confident enough in my abilities to, like, get started on that. I don't really like taking commissions. But specifically I like the one where the, like, rich dude gets turned into a, like, friendly big booby cowgirl. I like the one where Jody gets turned into Ruby. I like the one where they all get turned into the Disgaea classes. There's so many. A lot of the Legion ones were just, like, interesting awakenings for me. That's a good one. Yes, so many good ones. I think my favorite was Setting the Stage back in the day, but I think I may have gotten another favorite since then, but I don't remember what it is. But, honestly, there's just so many good ones. Anyway, favorite game, Dark Cloud 2, hands down. It is my favorite game of all time. I've played it more times than I can count. I'm actually playing it right now, up at Wraith's place. On and off. I just got, like, about 2/3 of the way through Chapter 3 for him. His commentary has been nice. I will stream it eventually, but I want to have more of a following before I do. I want it to be a very special stream, and then I'll probably stream it more in the future after that. Other favorite games, though, I've got quite a few. Team Fortress 2, Terraria, Skyrim, Symphony of the Night, Minecraft, I guess. Minecraft. Terranigma, also. A couple of the Final Fantasies I think are pretty well up there. But, honestly, yeah, Dark Cloud 2 is really, really good. Favorite sandwich, cheese, and bread. That depends on where I'm getting the sandwich from. I don't go to a lot of the sandwich places, but like if I'm going to Subway, I like the chicken teriyaki, the sweet onion chicken teriyaki one. I think before they added that to the menu, I used to like order exactly that as like a custom sandwich. But yeah, sweet onion chicken teriyaki is really really good. Unless they added it to the menu ages ago, and I just didn't even notice. If I'm going to McAllister's, I like their King Chicken Club, I think. If I'm going to Firehouse, I haven't been to Firehouse in a really long time, I like their spicy Cajun chicken. Otherwise, you can't really go wrong with a meatball sub. I make turkey sandwiches with Havarti and spinach, love them. Of course the best sandwiches are going to be the ones you make yourself. Unfortunately, I'm not that much of a sandwich artist. But cheese and bread, I think my favorite cheese is Munster. Favorite bread is, I would say like everything seasoned, but that's kind of just like standard bread. I'm quite partial to sourdough, actually. And if not sourdough, usually honey wheat. Wait, favorite meme or joke? Funny you mentioned that. Oh, I didn't mean to tab out there. I have this. This is a YouTube playlist, which I will actually link in the chat, that's got a bunch of my favorite random meme videos that are just from, like, across the internet. Or just, like, on YouTube. Fuck you, Stapler Sen! Am I pregnant? Adventures of Mario and Luigi overdub. Sonic Heroes opening. All of these are, like, really, really silly. I sort of made this as a response to the, like, important videos playlist that everyone talked about. Yeah, it's pretty much just funny stuff on here. Zombocom. Banana bird at work? Hell yeah! See you in 5 minutes. Yeah, it's like, oftentimes when I'm entertaining company, I will just put this playlist on and just, like, shuffle videos and people just get, like, random shit. Oh my fucking god, banana! It's so many silly things on this. Do Legion canonically smell like flowers? They can. I think it's like, I would certainly not rule it out. Will you run out of illusion? Will you run an illusion of Gaia 100% run? I would very much like to. I've never done 100% before. The thing I'm really worried about is the gems. God, the gems are so hard to get. Anyway, moving back to the picture gallery. As far as jokes go, I'm not really big on, like, remembering jokes. But a lot of my favorite stuff just came directly from Wraith. Like, back when we used to have movie nights... Oh, hello, Demetal! According to D&D, as a gold dragon, I smell like saffron and incense. But yeah, do legions smell like flowers? Sure, they can. Not inherently, I believe, but it's, like, probably just as a result of what they hang around with, and also, like, they can grow flowers from the air. I need a drink. Don't forget the gem in the RNG pot in the starting town. I know, it's so horrible. But a lot of my favorite jokes that have come from Wraith have been when we were watching movies. For instance, we watched the original Star Wars trilogy, followed by the original Indiana Jones trilogy. And when we were on Raiders of the Lost Ark, Indy says, I'll pay you half now and half when we get to America. And the funny thing is, Harrison Ford is in both of these movies. So Joey just blurts out, hey, I've seen this one before. They get halfway to America, and then it turns out that America's been blown up by the Death Star. But also, we also watched Batman: A Killing Joke. And there's the whole arc with Batgirl there, and then Joey goes, bad computer, how can I tell if I got a girl pregnant? Oh, sorry, still sick. Anyway, I showed that. Lights and Nights asks, anniversary stream question, do you have a favorite OC? I have so many OCs. Here's a big grid full of all of them. Wow. Gotta head to work, have fun. Thank you for showing up. Wow, this is a lot of characters. I think I have somewhere around 84, although not all of them have visual designs yet, so this is just the ones that have visual designs. Yes, I have some favorites. Those would be J2, B3, G6, and A8. The OC board. Yeah, it's just like, I'm not really great at drawing. A8, yeah, that's Krista, and she's made, like, specifically for you. I have a couple illustrations of them to show off. This is Krista. I figured I would just use this time to talk about some of my favorite characters that I've made, since, honestly, I just design characters as a hobby. Anyway, this is Krista. She is just a dark slime, a sorceress, and she's also literally me, also a self-insert that is just sort of isekai'd into a generic RPG and had her memory wiped. And there's a whole storyline for her that I've been working on as like a private roleplay. It involves these schmucks. One of whom is in chat. Honestly, just really cute. Who next? Beatrix. Also one very closely based off me. I just really like her chill aesthetic and general design overall. She's not that special. She herself is also an inspired, which I mentioned earlier. But I just kind of like her design. Who next? Gale. I like her a lot. Funny thing is that when I was designing Gale, I actually decided, hey, I'm sort of like getting Mega Man inspiration for the design here. Why don't I play through Mega Man X for the first time ever, in order to train myself and understand what exactly I'm making? And I did, and it was awesome. Mega Man X is so good. Also, nobody is going to believe me on this, but I beat Sigma first try. And Hera, I do not have a illustration of yet, so here's her Minecraft skin. But she is just generally she's just a badass Valkyrie. I don't know what to say. I've sort of ruled her as like a big sister slash bully sort of character, but she has a genuine dedication to protecting her friends. I think I also wanted to give her like a pauldron, but this design is a little outdated. I think there was a better sprite of her on the sprite sheet. But honestly, she's just really badass. I play as her in Monster Hunter. She's based off Geis from Ys, so she has a halberd and cloaked pauldron light armor design. I just think she's really cool. Hoshiko is also a good one. She is a cowgirl samurai. She's a samurai. She's got a big nagamaki, and I think, like, her backstory is really simple. She just basically had her estate, like, scammed away from her and went overseas looking for the guy who, like, did it, so she can take revenge. She's sort of like just a ronin. Vega is a character I played in Pathfinder. She is a Nekone, which is a race that Terra made. Unfortunately, Terra just left. They're sort of the demonic representation of gluttony, whereas succubi are the demonic representation of lust. But honestly, I kind of don't really like the whole, like, eating non-stop thing as much as I like, ooh, big muscly, red-skinned, like, tiger cat girl. A samurai Kala will say something about that. It's a cute pun. I made it a long time ago. Is there any after that? Oh, what's this? There appears to be an elephant here. I wonder why that's there. Okay, one last question. What is your real voice? So it's not a secret. I use a voice changer. And I was debating whether I should, like, address this on stream in the first place. It's not really a secret, but I don't bring it up I don't bring it up because I don't want to, like, spoil the magic. But I'm sure some people are curious. There are some videos in the past of me having not used the voice changer, but...
Hello. This is real Sedra voice speaking. Granted, it's not exactly the same because I am still sick, I am congested, and I'm a lot more nasally right now. But this is what I really sound like. There have been times where I've just considered, like, dropping the voice changer altogether. It's like, moving on, why use a voice changer? I just sort of wanted to sell the idea of Sedra as being, like, cutesy anime girl. But the thing is, I use Morphvox. It's not really the best voice changer in the world. And it caught nasally Sedra. Yeah, it's like... Trust me, I wish I didn't get sick in time for the stream, but this is like real voice Sedra. Why use a voice changer? I didn't trust myself enough to train my voice. I know some people can, because if I talk a lot like this, it's hard to maintain because I'm sick, but this gives a lot more credence to it. But overall, I find it really hard to maintain this voice for an extended period, so I just sort of, like, naturally want to move back towards normal voice here. Now, if people really like this, then I could, like, keep it. I don't know. If people just genuinely prefer real voice Sedra. I don't. Frankly, hearing this voice come out of this model is very strange for me. And I'm sure it's strange for all of you. But I had people believing that it was my genuine voice, but just a shitty mic. Do what feels comfortable. I think I'm more comfortable using the voice changer. It sounds very Sedra. You have been listening to that version of Sedra for like a full year now. I feel like you're a little biased. I had some people believing that was my real voice, but just with a shitty mic. It is not a shitty mic. This is a Blue Yeti. That is kind of top. I wouldn't say top of the line, but it's very high quality. It's also so very crisp. But one of the biggest detractors to using the voice changer. I've been listening to your voice a lot too. Yeah, that's true. When I stream on Discord, I don't use the voice changer, but I lost my train of thought just now. In my eyes, the voice changer sounds natural out of the model. Maybe find a better one. Okay, I had the choice between a couple voice changers. One of which is an AI-powered deepfake voice changer. I decided that I did not want that because I wanted the voice to at least sound somewhat like me. Also, the AI-powered one is, like, super, super resource-intensive. I would basically need to run it on a computer by itself. And, like, stream it through this to get it onto stream, and that's... yikes. But, the main problem with Morphvox, for me, is just that it causes a lot of distortion.
See, if I turn the voice changer back on, and this is what it sounds like if I do the voice that assists with it, it's a lot more convincing sounding, but it is still rather robotic sounding. And I don't know how to get rid of a lot of that robotic, like, twang to the voice. If you're wondering, here are my settings. I have a 50 pitch shift and 20 timbre shift at 100% strength, and the breathy vocal tract. I gotta go now. Have fun with the rest of the stream, Sedra. Thank you. You don't sound as robotic as you used to at start. That's weird. But then again, I am... highlighted message. Good job. I've had a lot of people say that the voice changer is really distracting, and they can't listen to me without it. Or they can't listen to me with it. They can't, like, take me seriously. But also, like, I am totally aware that there's a meme of, wow, dude, hold on,
I'm going to turn it off to continue making my point. There is a meme of that people have in like the VTubing community of like, oh haha wow, like man uses female avatar, cringe. And it's like, okay, but I'm trans. And I don't like to brag about being a trans streamer. It isn't really like in my eyes, people should be watching me because they like me, not because I want people to watch me because I am a good streamer, not because I am a trans streamer. So I don't put it in any like descriptions or anything. I don't like advertise it on my profile because I don't want it to like consume my identity. It's just a part of who I am. It's not a big deal. Sounds to me like they're just jealous. I don't know. Uh, but yes, I am the embodiment of the meme. I use a voice changer. I'm proud of it. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, frankly. Hopefully in the future I can get one with less robotic twang. I think I'm on V5 of Morphbox. I think I'm on V4 of Morphbox. I know there's a V5. I tested it. I don't think it's all that different. But if I can find some way to get more of the distortion out, like, I'm sure, like, I've just sort of been tweaking the voice over the past year, trying to find, like, what is, like, the right level of this sounds like Sedra, and this doesn't sound like a robot. Because, like, I sort of imagine Sedra as having this, like, honey-voiced, cutesy anime girl thing. Better to be a good streamer who happens to be trans than be seen as another trans streamer. Absolutely. I don't want my identity to carry me. I do not want to be defined by my identity. Unfortunately, I am still congested. So this has been kind of a half voice reveal. But I hope that it has been enjoyable nonetheless. Whoops. Your personality isn't just trans. So true. End of Q&A. I will continue answering to chat.
So if you have any more questions, please leave them in the chat and I will get to them, like, as soon as you say. But before that, I want to make some special thanks. Now, the first people are related to my big project recently. I want to thank Junos, aka Hexaarts, for the consultancy and basically just helping along various steps of the model. Rainhat for her amazing tutorial series. I spent so many hours watching her just futz around in Blender, and that is how I managed to get the 3D Sedra model done. And mostly Cake, just for having just for streaming so often with models he's made, and just having this mindset of, you have something special to you, you need to put it into the world. You need to focus on it. You need to make it exist. You can always make it look better later. And just this constant reassuring support and talking about modeling to get me invested in it. I was just watching his stream one day, and I was just like, yeah, modeling good. I've got a ref sheet. What am I doing? Go ahead. Let's do it. He mentioned Rainhead as well, so I want to thank him for that. I don't think he really knows who I am, but I've been following him for a very long time. But Junos is the guy that I initially wanted to commission for the Sedra model. Unfortunately, he had a very rough spot in life. His company convinced him to move to New Orleans, and then ditched him. They fired him. What the hell? So now he got stuck in a super, like, rich, overpriced city, and had to raise his prices a lot, and I could not afford it. But I still wish him the best, and I am so grateful to him for talking to me about the model and helping me whenever I got stuck. He has been a tremendous help, and I'm so glad that he was, he was very encouraging, and he was very happy to see me get it done, so thank you, Junos. Anyway. Streamer buddies, Rizu and Lan. I don't watch a lot of streams. My biggest inspiration is probably Vinesauce, but the people I interact with the most are probably these two. Rizu is a friend that I have known for a very long time, and he has also gotten into VTubing himself, and a lot of what I learned when I was first starting off came from his guidance. Also worth noting is Pipkin Pippa. I watched her, like, how do you become a VTuber sort of video, just to, like, get an idea about what I was doing, and she has a pretty good introduction to the concept. Although a lot of that is like getting a model in the first place, and that's not really the important part for me. It still helped. And Lon, honestly, I'm in his streamer community. He's a really nice guy, and we've talked a lot about like old RPGs, and I mean he's a hunkalicious Norse werewolf Viking YouTuber or VTuber. Go give him a watch sometime. Let me shout out both of them. /SO, not recommend. Alright, I'll type out the whole thing then. You have to wait 8.5 minutes before giving another shout out. What the fuck? Damn. Anyway, I also need to thank Wraith and AkuOreo. Can someone else do another shout out for me? They have done so much for me that I can't even fit it on screen. They have been some of my best friends. They made MSF High. They've done art for me. They did my VTubing model. I think it's on a global cooldown. Oh, that sucks. If Lana's still here, I want you guys all to, like, give him some love, too. They've been very good role models to me and such good friends. Also, I need to get, like, music going again. That'll work. And most importantly, I want to thank all of my viewers. Thank you so much for making the past year of streaming a success. I'm pretty sure you already answered my question earlier. I was going to ask how you specifically found MSF High. I did answer that earlier. Thank you all. Thank you, my friends. Thank my viewers. Thank everybody that watches on YouTube, although I know it's not a lot. I thank everybody who chats in my channel. You all mean the world to me. Sounds a bit like StarCraft. This music is from Wizardry Tale of the Forsaken Land. And that's the last thing I have in my slide, so I guess I'll just, like, rewind a bit. And, wait, that's too much. Boom! Okay, end of QA. So, I'm going to take a break after this to hop into VR chat and show up the model. I'm thankful for having the chance to know you and the rest as well. So, if you have any more questions, I will happily answer them in chat. I'll give like a couple minutes. I'll take a drink. You said before Legion you liked elves and made an OC more. Yeah, hold on. I'll just... I have my whole screen displaying, so it's a little awkward. But, if I pull it up... Boom! This is Nero! He was my first ever OC. Although I kind of had one before him, I don't know if it counts. I basically just use Nero as a generic term for everything I inserted as back in the day. But, yeah, I was really into elves before I was into Legion. I just sort of wanted to make, like, a healer OC. And, like, this was back when I was still identifying as male. I actually remember him, this must have been so long ago. Yeah, Nero's from, like, early 2015. Or late 2014, actually. Before that, Nero was kind of conceptually, like... I did, like, YouTube videos of, like, me and my friends LARPing. Nero to Sedra TF. No! No, you can think of the male, like, human-based version of me IRL as Nero if you want, but that's not really a name I go by anymore. In any case. Ugh, so congested. Any other questions, guys? I'll give it another few minutes or so. Favorite race other than Legion? Valkyrie. I like me some winged angel babes. Favorite transformations? I feel like this goes under the whole, like, what is your favorite AkuOreo comic thing we got into earlier? Yes, I have one. What you think about my Discord PFP? I'll check it later. Oi. Ah. I have a winged angel babe OC. Nice! If I were to open Sedra's character sheet, she does have levels in, Valkyrie and Care Elemental, and also some others. Okay, what's your favorite things to turn into? I don't know where to start with that. A lot of you know the answers to that already. Basically just anything. There are some races I find kind of gross. I know that sounds like a really racist thing to say, but it's just like, generally speaking, I would rather be turned into a dryad than a goblin. I would rather be turned into a orc than a, zombie. Ugh. Anyway, the full thing is somewhere in the creative artwork channel in the Discord. Anything favorite from the Maho Galaxy timeline? I think Legion War is what I know the most, but, actually, I think my favorite part is the Deviling incursion, because, so basically, Devilings are... They were basically ex-angels that were ousted for being heretics and were transformed by entropic energies to have, like, devilish forms, and they sort of established a life on Faradon, which is a system of practically apocalyptic planets, where they had to make big radiation shields in order to survive, in order just to get by. So at one point, they eventually left Faradon and started just hopping into a bunch of Golden Alliance cities. And they just sort of entered, they made homes there, and the Golden Alliance was just like, hey, you can't do that. And they're just like, yeah, huh? But they were sort of spreading the idea that maybe the government isn't always the best thing. And the Golden Alliance didn't like that very much, so at one point, one of the systems had a vote to abolish democracy. And the Golden Alliance High Command had to make an announcement that it is now illegal to vote against democracy. And that transmission was hijacked by the Devilings to say, hey guys, look, the people who are leading you are a bunch of old nincompoops who can't grasp irony. And this went on until the Golden Alliance got sick of this and decided to kick them out with murder bots. And then they trolled them even harder there because they hacked the murder bots to make them develop sentience. And that's how Mecha got introduced into the setting. Voting to abolish democracy, where I've actually seen that before. You probably read about it there. But yeah, Devilings and overall the Galactic Anarchists as a whole just have a history of trolling the governments of the galaxy. At one point, they posed as the Watchers to ask a single question. Everyone, like, gathered around and they, like, demanded, like, no, I want credit for asking this question. So they asked the Watchers the question, what is the best course of action to go through with for the betterment of the galaxy? After they had picked a siren to read off the names of everyone involved with coming up with the question for, like, 10 hours straight. And their response was just, we have heard your question, goodbye. And then later on they come up with, everyone who is named on that list should be taken out of office. And they're just like, oh god damn, it was Gan again. Anyway, lovely period. Other interesting parts of galactic history are probably the Great Shift, when subspace broke and everyone's Maho genes activated, and that's when shapeshifters started showing up randomly. But I don't have as much to say about that. Legion War is kind of just grimdark all around. Anyway, that's the end of the Q&A. I don't think anyone has any more questions, so I am going to, first off, move back to my base setup, and I will take a break. I'll get more water, I'll set up for VR chat, and I think we will all have a fun time watching me do that. Might be a couple minutes for me, so I am going to go be